Hello, in this video tutorial I'm going to be doing backgrounds. So I already have an example of what the background is going to look like. It's going to be this beautiful night sky background. The supplies I'm going to be using today are these Prismacolor New Pastels, Prismacolor Premier Colored Pencils. Finally, I'm going to be using oil pastels. I'm going to take this sort of indigo blue pastel that I got from these new pastel, and I'm just going to start filling in the background. I'm going to go along the edges of the subject first because the subject is already colored and I don't want to mess up this coloring, so I'm just going to go around the edges and make sure that I get those filled in first. I'm using the side of the pastel now to fill in the actual background. Next, I'm going to use my fingers to blend in the pastel, and I'm using my fingers instead of a paper towel because if I use a paper towel, it's going to pick up a lot of the pastel and stuff, and I want this to have a very saturated indigo color as the base. That's why I'm using my fingers. Now that I've blended in this soft pastel, I'm going to take my black oil pastel and go over it. And I'm blurring the lines right now between the background and the subject. This will fix the haloing effect between the subject and the background if you sometimes get really bad halos around you. I'm using some water-based paint thinner now, and I would say this is a medium-sized brush. I'm going to put a very thin layer over the background so I can break up the oil pastel that I put down earlier. I'm going to show you what the difference is between the paint thinner side and the non-paint thinner side. As you can see, this part, you can still see the oil pastel and it looks very scratchy and stuff. If you like this kind of background, you can leave it like this and not use the paint thinner, but I like to have a very smooth, realistic background, so I put the paint thinner over and it breaks up the oil pastel and makes it look more smooth like this. I'm going to go over some of these areas with this light blue new pastel. I'm just going to highlight some areas in the sky. This adds sort of a variance in tone, so your background looks interesting and not just a black monotone thing. Alright, and we're just going to go over this entire thing with indigo blue. I'm trying to keep the color outlay very even. And for this dark umber color, I'm just going to fill in some parts with the dark umber, probably closer to the subject here. I don't think you'll really be able to see it on my 3 megapixel camera in my computer, but this dark umber will add some temperature variance to the night sky. So instead of it being very blue and cold, it will look a little bit warmer. I'm going to use this black Prismacolor pencil. I'm just going to make the darks darker. Let's see here. adding in some white patches. I don't want this background to be a completely black night sky, so these white patches will help kind of get a variance of color and temperature in there, and they don't really make it look bleached at all. It just adds a little bit of interest to the background. I want to use one more Prismacolor to add to the highlights or the white patches, and this is light cerulean blue. I'm just going to go in and sort of finish it up. I'm using very light pressure. For the stars, I'm going to take this white paint in a small round brush. I'm just going to dip the round brush into the paint and randomly put little dots all around to make the stars. Before the paint dries, I'm just going to take my pinky finger, which you can see doesn't have any pastel on it, and I'm just going to make little dabs, dab the paint. Now that the paint is dry, I'm going to take this little paper towel. As you can see, it's already dirty and it already has some pigment on it. I'm going to blend the stars into the night sky with this. We'll put more stars on. I like lots of stars. And the background is finished. So here's the top, here's the bottom. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. As you can see, I put more stars right here, and right here. The wings aren't finished, and this part right here isn't finished. I'll probably end up doing that in another tutorial soon in the future, hopefully. Until next time, I hope you found this helpful, and see you later.